Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dan the Glass Man here, and you're watching the Glass Man's World. And I just wanted to show you cats versus plants. This ain't really part of the whole weekly update for the garden, but it is part of our windowsill garden here. And as you can see, I've got skewers all over the place, a crazy gauntlet here. And I do believe that I have stopped the cat from being able to get into the back over here and trying to lay in this whole area. And I see, I see there's one that got knocked over. So could be trying to get in there still. Maybe got poked. This plant's still doing good. So these are working. Little Krishna still up there, not falling over. Do we have anything growing yet though? Zero. So we did put some Tulsi seed up there, and we're hoping to grow some more. But I basically had to allow the cats to win. So as you can see, I cleared off those other plants that we had in the container. We had a whole bunch of these spider plants here. We had 8 of those, and I put those out in the backyard, and they're actually doing really well outside, not in direct sunlight. They're more on the shadier side, on the north side of our home. But we have new cilantro going, and this is in a self-watering system that I made. I was told, or I looked it up online, and they said that you want like a good like 8 inches of soil for the cilantro to grow in. So this is one of the deepest self-watering containers that I've made. And as you can see, it's got a wobble to it. So I like to keep this one in this container here so it just stays in place and holds in place right there. Now, one thing that I've noticed is the top is not getting moist, and it's only getting moisture up until about, let me see if we can actually see, about right there. There's moisture here, and then about right here is where it starts to get dry. So it's pulling up moisture from down here. So I don't know, a good 6 inches or 7 inches up. But I guess the wick doesn't pull up moisture any higher than that. So we have to then keep the top of this all moist and everything here. So I'm just going to spray that down a little. And we also created this new container here. So this is in a self-watering system. It has a wick that goes all the way up through to about this point. Now I probably should have done that with this one. This one, the wick only goes up about an inch or so into the bottle here. So it only goes an inch or two up right there. Whereas this one, the wick goes all the way through, and you can see this is still nice and moist. I'm going to start planting some mint in here, and that's what these holes are all for, so you can grow mint. I've also seen onions growing out of here, and what other kind of garlic. You can put like a clove in each little hole. If these holes were a little bit bigger, this one's actually a good size. You could probably put a clove in there. But yeah, that'll be growing soon. And then we still got to get this going. This is our windowsill self seed starter there. They all have wicks, and they're all floating. And all I need to do is put water underneath them, put some seeds in there, and we can have more plants to grow. But I don't have too much space, so I don't want to start a bunch of plants and then not have room. Because as you can see, I had to give up this whole area here so the kitties can lay up there. All right, so right now, we're going to go get ourselves some water. The containers. So every week, I fill up the self-watering systems, the buckets that we have outside. They're Dutch buckets, so it's basically 2 5-gallon buckets inside of each other. And I fill them up. Usually 1 gallon is what they take a week. And that's pretty amazing. A lot of people, they need to water their plants like 1 gallon per day, especially when they get really large. But these, they're in buckets, so the water holds contained. It's self-contained in the bottom, it's like a water reservoir, and then they have wicks that pull the moisture up into the soil, and somehow they just they self-water. The wicks are like tap roots, so it'll pull the water up automatically. And if it pulls up too much water, then that moisture will just get too heavy from the soil and drip right back down to the water reservoir. So let's go and water these. So basically I just fill up a gallon here from the tap. Now I wish that we had a lot more rainwater so I could, I had to put that down. I'm all one-handed here. But I wish that I had more rainwater. We haven't been getting any rain. Although California right now is getting a bunch of rain. So I just watered this. We got our rosemary all watered, this flowering plant. Flowers are gone. We'll probably have to pull those. I believe we got a new basil plant growing right here, coming up. Another little baby came up. I think that's a Tulsi, I'm not really sure. And I already watered this one yesterday. I filled it up. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm doing my update, so I didn't fill up anything else. So let me show you what I do here. So this is our container garden right here in the front windowsill. And as you can see, the datura flowers, or they're moon flowers, they came up last night. I believe they close up during the day, so once the heat comes out, I believe that will close up. So these are moonflowers here, or datura, and I've already filled up the container here for the corn. This is our tomato plant. You can see we got some new flowers here, and hopefully we can come in here and try to help to pollinate, and we'll see. I don't know if that'll work. I've seen some tricks where people come in and they hit that pestle right in the center there and try to pollinate into the flower there. So we'll see if that works and if we get any tomatoes. There's a couple more right there. So we'll try to make sure that, because I'm pretty sure this is what the bees do. They come in, they buzz and vibrate and knock some of that pollen down, but I don't know if this is how you do it, or if you have to have another plant next to it and all that. So I'm not sure how much water is in here. We can try to look and see all the way. And I see a tiny bit down there. So we'll pretty much just give it a full gallon right here. So you water into the water reservoir, and then the plant pulls up the water directly to the root. So we're never putting any water on the foliage or any of the roots, so it shouldn't ever get any sort of root rot or anything like that. And as you can see, it's growing pretty well with the purslane here. Purslane's flowering, little beautiful flowers. Hopefully those will attract some bees soon. And the corn's doing really well. Got these beautiful tufts coming off of it. I don't see any ear of corn coming up yet, but maybe if we can drop some of this pollen down and into these areas here, maybe we can get some corn to grow. We did have some squash flowers in the back, so we got to get these filled as well right now. So let's get some more water. Beautiful purslane, also flowering. Oh no, that's not. That's the goji berry right there. So we got new gojis coming up soon. All of the other ones are pretty much gone. I don't know. Oh, there's one last remaining one back there. Let me grab that one. Like, I don't think there's any more. I think this is the last of the goji. Oh, there's a little dehydrated one. That one's sad looking. I'm sure it's still got good flavor though. Yeah, so that's all it. Let's go get some more water, and we'll fill up the other containers. And like I said, that's a weekly thing. We just do this a week, and then I let them go. So you're seeing the weekly update, and I fill this up just one time, and then I let those plants go. I don't have to worry about, are they gonna dry out in this heat? We live in Albuquerque. We live in the desert. It's the high desert, so we're in a high altitude here. It's like it's a mile high. Basically, we're like 5,000 feet up from above sea level, which people don't think about that when we're describing the desert. But we are up in altitude here. A lot of people think of Denver as being a mile high city, but Albuquerque actually is a mile high city, and it's really dry. We haven't had a lot of rain. The other day, well, not the other day, I'd say about a couple weeks ago, we had those monsoons that came in, and a crazy downpour that came, and all the hail and everything, and then and that was it. So I collected all that rain, one day worth of rain, and it was too bad that I wasn't able to be here to manage the water coming in, because we have a 55-gallon barrel, and I have I had a, here, let me show you what I had. Look, there's a bus right there. Right across the street. Bus picks up. So let me show you here. So we got this 55-gallon barrel, right? Set up right underneath the rain gutter. And so when the rain comes down, usually I'll have a bucket here. And I used to have some 5-gallon buckets up here, and they would drain down, and then another one would drain down, and then the water would trickle off the sides and fill up the lid here, and basically just pour into the hole there. Now, I'm probably going to have to spin this around so it's on the lower end. I've used this water, but we're still pretty much, 3/4 of the way up. So we're still good. We still got that much water in there. But it wasn't able to fill up last time. And had I been here, I could have just simply moved this. But this was actually covering it. It was covering it. I was like, oh no, I wasn't here. And all I needed to do was simply just turn it like that. So it could have been exposed. Huh. So let's get the rest of these watered. And I'll try to show you, if I can, see if I can do this. So down on the bottom here, there is an overfill hole. So if I can pour this, you'll see I'm just trying to pour the water in right here in the filling hole here. I'm trying not to get it anywhere else but in the pipe, and it's hard with my left hand. But once it starts to overfill, then down below that handle there, you should be able to see it start to come out of the overflow hole. And hopefully I haven't spilt too much of it, that we won't use more than a gallon. I spilled quite a bit of it everywhere though. Okay, well, it didn't come out. So I might have I might have spilt a little bit more. Usually it's only 1 gallon. But also, after the plants start growing, they start to take up a little bit more water. And so I don't know if we're at the point where I just spilled too much on the side trying to pour it with my left hand. And we'll see right now, because we're just going to add more water in. Was it just barely missing that little bit, or did I spill too much, or what happened? So we're filling up the water again here, and filling up our Dutch buckets. I got the other one right next to it as well. So usually these only take 1 gallon a week. Maybe they're going to 1.25 gallons, 1.5 gallons, which isn't bad for an entire week of not having to worry about watering your plants. Imagine if you could leave your plants alone for an entire week and be like, oh yeah, like I'm not worried about anything. I can go on a vacation for a whole week, right? Some people just try to get away for the weekend and they're like, oh, I can't. Oh my gosh, I'm getting bit by ants. I must have got some ants from that squash plant. All right. So we got our gallon here. We got to close that every time, make sure the kitties don't escape out. Okay. I'm going to turn this back around. We're going to try to not spill so much water this time. I'll do my best. Oh yeah, let me go with the right hand with the camera, left hand pouring. We will try. I'm trying to like get around. It's funny as I'm trying to get my arm all through this whole thing without hurting the corn. Okay, so here we go. So we're filling up the top here. And as we fill it, oh there it goes. See? We were right there. I don't know if you can see that trickle. But see that? See it coming out right there? I'm just pouring extra so you can. So it was perfectly 1 gallon. So now we already used up all that gallon there, but we'll fill this one up, and this one also has an overfill. So that's the thing that I love about these self-watering systems, the Dutch buckets, is you fill this up with 1 gallon of water once a week, and you're good to go. So you can leave your plants alone. Now the only thing is, that one isn't a good self-watering system. It doesn't have a reservoir on the bottom, so I have to water that daily. This one have to water daily. This one you have to water daily. All these I have to water daily. This one I could put a system set up with there. Just make a wick underneath it and everything. This one is a self-watering. And everything else I have to hand water. So it's really nice when you can actually figure out how to get your whole entire garden a self-watering system. So there are systems called SIP, sub-irrigated planters, and these sub-irrigated planters, the way that I've made them is you make a box like a raised garden bed, and on the bottom you have to put some sort of water, or well, yeah, a water barrier. You got to put some sort of a tarp, plastic sheeting, something like that, to where you can actually hold water in, and you create kind of like, just think of like a kiddie side, like a kiddie pool, right? And so you have like a water reservoir, like a little tiny kiddie pool. Let's design a round one in our heads right here. So you have a round kiddie pool, right? And then you need those 4-inch tubes that are they're, what are they, corrugated, or is that what they're called? Corrugated tubing. Basically they have holes, perforated tubing. They have holes, so you can put them underneath like your rock and like in your driveways and stuff, so that way, and like in front of your, if you have a garage that's low, then you can put these tubes underneath the rock, and then when the rain comes in, it'll come into that tube, and the tube is hollow, and it's got these slices all the way around it, and so the water can seep into that tube and then drain away. And so if you get these 4-inch pipes, these tubes, you put them in the swimming pool on top, or you can use other kind of things, like anything that's absorbent, but peat moss works really well. You can use a whole bunch of like burlap cloth, Oh, what's going on? We lost connection there. Sorry about that. So, oh my gosh, these cats. Always dropping stuff. So, you have the tubes in there, you put them inside the swimming pool, and then you cover that with like peat moss or burlap sacks or something to where then you can put soil on top of the peat moss or on top of the burlap sacks or sheets, beddings, whatever you can have, any kind of material you put in between there. You could probably even use hay and put that in between there. And then the water will stay within the tubes, you know, and it might, the peat moss might get in the water, whatever, but that doesn't matter. What you're doing is you're separating the soil that you're going to put on top of that peat moss from seeping down into the water and then eventually becoming mud. So you need a good layer in between the tubes, and then you put your soil on top so you have a good raised bed. And I was just using the kiddie pool as an example, but I would make that into a rectangle or a square, a 4x4 or 4x8 bed out of wood. And then you build the frames to where the water can hold and the soil can hold. So you put all of your framework on the outside and have all your boards being held on the inside. You can use brackets, L brackets on the corners to hold it all together. And then you definitely want to use screws, not nails. Um, and then you figure out a way to where you can get water into like the corners. One of the systems that we made, we actually had a filling system on the two overfill holes, and one of them had a coupling for a water hose, like a bib to put a water hose on, and you could just basically fill it up. And then we also had the SIP systems to where we could then run the other faucet hoses and attach bed, and then it would go out the overflow from there into another bed and then fill up the other one and then fill up the other one. So if you have these all set perfectly, then they'll fill up a 4-inch level. We're using the 4-inch pipe, right? So you fill it up to 4-inch level, and then once it hits that overflow, it's going to come out. But if you have it going out in through another hose or a tube or something to connect to another one, then it'll start filling up that one, and then it'll reach that 4-inch level there and then go to the next one, and you can just keep on going. So there are systems that I've been wanting to do forever. I don't know, like over 10 years, 12 years, where I want to get Dutch buckets and have, like, I don't know, let's say like 50 of them, and have them all set up. So we would need like 100 buckets, 50 plants, and they're all set up. And then you have a gravity fed system where you get like your 55-gallon barrel and you lift that up. So right now it's on the floor, right? We don't have a gravitational pull. If I put a hose on it, the only pressure we would have is the water pressure on top. And once it reached the bottom, there would be nothing. If you lift that up, you get more pressure. There's more gravity up higher, more pressure. So, you you have a way to where that water trickles out into another container that has a float valve. So it'll fill up. That float valve will reach the top and it'll shut off. So then your gravity fed hose gets shut off, and you have a way to have an overfill hole off of that control box. And so then the water will seep out and then go into a bucket, and then it'll fill up the one bucket, go into the next bucket, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, till it reaches the end. And once they all reach that 4-inch level, and that float will just shut off because it won't pour out anymore. So that's something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And maybe eventually when we get land or something like that, then I'll be able to do that. Let's go finish up the watering here. And then we'll call it a day. This is a long, hey, check it out. Look at cats versus plants. See? It worked. They win. They win. Didn't lose. No one lost. Everyone wins. Actually, the plants went out in the backyard, and they're actually healthier than they have been. And the cats are happy because they can get up top and be higher where they want to be. So actually, everyone's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. See how that works? You don't have to have losers all the time. You have all winners. You just got to figure out the solution, right? Okay, so now I'm filling up this one here. And I don't know where the overfill is. It sounds like it's as high as it's going to go. And then I'm just going to pour the rest of this water into the corn here. No big deal. What's this? Trash. Trash. Put that in trash. All right, so there you have it, guys. That's an update on our container gardens here, our Dutch buckets, and then also, you know, a little self-watering kind of system. This is to mimic the old clay pots, but it doesn't seep out as slow as a clay pot. I probably should make a new bottle to fit in there and make tinier holes. I made those holes way too big. All right, well, I'm gonna let y'all go, but this is apartment. All right, you guys, love and blessings. We'll see you guys soon. Have a beautiful day. Oh, also, before you go, I do want to let you know that later on today at noon, I've been working on a new song. It's a hit song right now. It just came out, I believe. He released it on the 8th, on the day that the fires in Lahaina and Maui burned. And this individual, it's a country song, and I don't listen to country. I don't know, but my brother sent me the link, and so I've been learning this song yesterday. Figured out how to play the chords because he uses a capo, and I had to okay, I got to transcribe it in a whole different way and figure out how to play it for myself, and then I got to change it up and I got to make it kind of my own feel as well. So at noon today, for Music Mondays, I'm gonna go live. So I invite you all to join me today, and make sure you join me every Mondays. Hopefully, I can do this weekly. I've had a couple of bad last few weeks have been kind of hit hard, losing friends, and just wasn't feeling it last week, and then the week before. I'm sorry that I've missed you guys for 2 weeks now, but I did bring you one Music Mondays, and then kind of went on hiatus for 2 weeks. But I'm going to bring it back today, and hopefully we can keep it going every Monday, and maybe we can keep it at about noon. We'll see, because I got things to do during the day, and sometimes that doesn't always work out for me. So just bear with me. I don't have a complete schedule for it yet, but maybe I can lock something down soon. And if not, you know, you can always watch it after it's done, and then always make sure you like it and share it. All right. Well, thank you for watching. This is updates on the garden, and a little quick sneak peek into plants, cats versus plants. Cats won. Well, everyone won, I guess, and I won. Peace of mind, and everyone's good now. So we all win. All right. You guys have a beautiful day.